You're listening to the Pittsburgh Piledriver.
What the hell is that?
Podcast.
Hey, this Batman. What are we all doing here? Well, we're going to do the Pittsburgh Piledriver podcast. Have you not gotten this by now? Like, this is what you clicked on it. You clicked on the Pittsburgh. Why do we even have to do an intro? You know what you're getting into, unless this is the first episode that you're listening to. Which, in that case, we're in like 150 something. Why are you starting here? There's so many things about your life choices that you're making that we should sit down and talk about. But we're not going to do that now because we're going to talk wrestling. We're not here to counsel you in your poor YouTube listening decisions. So figure it out, slap nuts. Hey, great. Callback. Hey, we're going to do Wrestle Talks on the Pittsburgh Piledriver Facecast. Ransom the Madman, Poot the Bard, Tiger Bomb Tom, Champ, Beef the Legend, all here, all queer, all wrestle, all the time. In your face.
Yes.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
That was such a fantastic description. Tiger Bomb Tom, Champ, Beef the Legend, here.
Can we please bring back the Armageddon Hell in a Cell?
Wow.
Yeah, I agree with Beav on this one, man.
I have not seen a Samoan fall off of a Hell in a Cell into a hay truck in decades, and I'm really itching for it.
You know how like Facebook will like suggest pages.
Sami
and
Zayn would
I
do
swear
it.
to God, I swear to God, my whole fucking feed is like ads and like suggestion of pages now because I blocked like everybody on my fucking Facebook.
Oh,
But I saw a page the other day that was like that said something about that match being a 5-star match, and I threw up in my mouth a little bit.
You're telling me
No,
it wasn't?
man.
You never go full Mickey.
No, man, that was terrible. Okay, it wasn't terrible, but man, like 6 Hell in a Cell, absolutely should not be a 6-man match.
What?
War Games is fine because I think the team aspect works well and the double ring and that whole spiel. But yeah, man, like.
Look, if we're not going to bring back Armageddon Hell in a Cell, can we at least bring back World War III?
I'm here for that. I like World War III.
Meh.
Low key, I was a big fan of World War III. The triple ring, like 90 people, like that. I mean, you got the ham and eggers and all that, but I mean, like it was fun. It was fun.
I will give WCW this. Aside from David Arquette and the triple tiered cell, they had some interesting, innovative, not been done before type matches and events that I wish WWE would do again now that they have the rights to it. I'm happy they're doing War Games. I would be interested to see a World War III pay-per-view. Even just once, like give it a shot, see if it works. If it's a super bad idea, well, we don't have to do it again. We gave it the old college try, move along. But yeah, I don't know. Like, come on, throw the entire roster into 3 rings. Let's see what happens. I want to see Kofi Kingston go from ring A to ring B to ring C without touching the floor.
And I mean, like you can even like set it up as like a SmackDown ring, a Raw ring, and an NXT ring. And then, like, once you have it down to the 10 people, then you can consolidate.
Come on, man. There's options. I'm telling you, like, we've got options. Let's do some exploration here. Let's get weird with it.
Yeah, man. I was happy to see that once again they brought back spin the wheel, make the deal. I like that match type. I think that you have to like. When they did that for Raw Roulette, and like it was just a bunch of fucking like basic ass bullshit.
Oh.
No, man. No, man. Like you gotta save that for some real like fucking like deathmatch shit. So like I like the idea of spin the wheel, make the deal, and I'm glad it's back too.
I want Taboo Tuesday. I want Taboo Tuesday to come back.
I want Great Balls of Fire to come back.
I don't see any difference in having a pay-per-view on a Sunday night as opposed to having a pay-per-view on a Tuesday night.
So
I have to get up and go to work the next day no matter what. Who cares?
Are you talking about having a pay-per-view on Tuesday night or like the digital, like what if Cyber Sunday came back?
Again, like what's Tuesday night, Sunday night? I'm working the next day regardless. I don't give a shit.
And I get that, but I'm asking like what is it like the interactive thing? Because I always question.
I did not believe it was legitimate at all.
Yeah.
No, I mean I think it was wholly rigged from like absolutely.
1,000%.
There was definitely a few things that happened that I'm like, that's kind of oddball, and like I think that they started like funneling it and restricting it more. So like as opposed to saying, who do you want the opponent to be? Like it was like, what kind of match type do you want it to be? Something that they could, control more. So I think that there was some validity to it, but I don't think that, it wasn't anything could happen,
No. I don't know. I mean, fucking let's do it. Let's have a Thursday night pay-per-view. Who gives a shit?
TNA used to do them all the time with the fucking Wednesday night. They're like 2-hour shows on Wednesday nights, and they were fucking gold.
Who?
Oh,
Who?
yo, we used to go and do that. It was like they were what, like $10?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And
they were great.
Punish Taker.
They were great.
Who?
Yeah, man.
I don't fucking know who TNA is.
You fucking and at that point it wasn't even like TNA. It was fucking NWA presents TNA.
Oh.
Yeah, man. So how good is Sami Zayn?
Amazing.
And I know that we've kind
You're
of
not
like
active
talked
very
about.
Yeah.
I know that we've talked about like the same like 4 things the last like 4 weeks on the podcast, being CM Punk and Sami Zayn, 2 of the things. But man,
tried to fucking mix it up with a collar elbow tie up, but that didn't happen. But yeah, Sami Zayn, great.
Call back again.
I think that this is somebody said it today that Sami Zayn has absolutely like reinvigorated this bloodline angle.
Yes.
I read that this Sami Zayn thing was supposed to be done in a couple of weeks. It was supposed to be like maybe a month.
Like a goof.
But but now like people are eating it up, and Sami Zayn is just to quote Vince McMahon, grabbing that brass ring and he's fucking running with it, man. And Triple H,
the crowd can't get enough of it.
Yeah, and Triple H, to his credit, it's like, fuck it, let's run with it. Let's see what happens.
The crowd can't get enough of it, man. They eat it up every single week. Whatever Sami Zayn says, the crowd's chanting it. They're here for it.
When Roman talked to Jay about not being very Uso, and he better find it, otherwise he's gonna rename Sammy Uso. The look of pure, just fucking like a kid at Disney World magic on Sami Zayn's face.
Yeah.
My God.
That was so good.
He is at another level. And even if Sami Zayn never gets the big one, even if Sami Zayn never gets a world title run, like if this is the closest that he gets, this is absolutely fucking like bulletin board material for any other, mid-carder or like someone that's looking to like break out of their what have you. Like, look at what Sami Zayn has done.
It's top tier level work.
Absolutely.
I can't.
When you have the crowd eating out of the palm of your hand week after week, honestly, you don't. I wouldn't be sad if Sami Zayn never got the big one, because I can look back on it and go, look how good Sami Zayn was in this bloodline angle. The crowd would week after week eat out of the palm of Sami Zayn's hand.
This is how good he's doing. I can't remember what interview it was. It was a short on YouTube that I saw. It was MJF giving Sami Zayn fucking credit. Like they brought up, it's like, what do you think of Sami Zayn and that? And MJF was like, I think Sami Zayn is one of the most entertaining and talented workers, and he's finally given a platform. Basically, in a nutshell, that's what he said. It's like he never had the platform to show it, and now he does, and it's amazing. Like MJF was like straight up just like Sami Zayn's fucking amazing.
I love
no salt, no sass, nothing.
I love fake MJF face. Like he's another one, man. That is like on another level, and we can pontificate about him. Man, give Sammy his fucking due. So, and I know that I talked a little bit about like where I want to see it go. But what do you boys think? Where do we find this? You know, where does it lead? How long does it go?
I want him to keep going. Like I want them to keep going not until it fully fizzles, because then you've waited too long. I want it to go until the shine just starts to wear off, and then you can wrap it up and do whatever you need to do. But like I want to see Sami Zayn become a full-blown Uso. I want Roman Reigns to change his name to Sami Uso. I want that to be on the name card when Sami Zayn comes out. I want him to be introduced as Sami Uso. I want it to drive Jay absolutely banana nut crunch crazy. Like, I want him to be the only one that can see through Sami Zayn. And I like to, and Jay Uso is becoming the paranoid one, but the one that is the only one not being fooled by Sami. Like, I want it to go full bore. I want him to be a full-blown Uso. I want to see it happen. I want to see him just lose his shit and run around the ring jumping with his hands in the air, just, yay, I did it, yay!
So you want to see Jay basically get gaslit for like 2 months?
Oh, like I don't know how they're going to play it out. Like, I really don't. I don't know if Sammy's going to purposefully betray somebody, cost Roman a title. I don't know what they're going to do. Like, I don't know if Sammy's being genuine. I don't know if Roman's going to eventually turn on Sami. Like, I don't know. But I want Jey Uso to keep getting, anger face and mean mugging and grumpy face. It's just crazy, grumpy, grouchy old grandpa man. And I want Sami Zayn to become a full-blown Uso and just I want to see him run around the ring like a lunatic, like a kid on Christmas, just, yeah, I got my pony. I so want it. Come on. It's the best thing WWE has.
What about you guys? What do you, Tom? What do you think? Where do you want to see this kind of end? Like, what's the end game here?
Man, it's all those are sound like great suggestions. I think ultimately what's gonna happen is it's gonna come to an end at WrestleMania or like night after WrestleMania, one of the two. I think it's either gonna be the cracks in the foundation are there, like that Jay gets so upset with Sami being brought in the bloodline, like full tilt, that he ends up costing Roman, and then that's where everything falls apart. Or Sami inadvertently ends up costing the Usos their titles or something, and that's what sets Jay off, and he snaps and fucking, attacks Sami or whatever. And that's what kind of like starts the downfall of the bloodline. There was the only thing I found one little piece of critique that I can make from that whole Usi promo and everything like that was whenever Jay said, he's like, how are we gonna let him in? He's not blood. Well, you let Paul Heyman in, and technically he's not blood either. But I digress. Like, that's just like one little nitpicky thing. Man, I don't know. I I don't know what way they're gonna go with it, but whatever way they go with, I'm sure it's gonna work out. Because like it's one of those things like we see the writing on the wall, like we know it can't last forever, but I don't know. Ultimately, by the end of it, regardless, like Sammy comes out like a full blown face, regardless. Like I think that's going to be the way that it works out. And like I said, I think the plan would probably be to go to Mania, because that's the natural order of things and the natural respiratory pause. You know what I mean? Like
They're so close too.
Yeah,
Why end it before? You're in November.
But I mean, even though it's November, but like you think about it, there's not like between Survivor Series and the next pay-per-view is day one, if that, right? I don't know.
No, that's not happening.
Okay, so day one's not happening. So we got Survivor Series and then nothing until Royal Rumble. So you have a lot of time in between there to take this story and have it develop a little bit more one way or the other, however you want to play it out. So you have a little bit more time than what you think. It's WrestleMania is not as close as you think, because then after Royal Rumble, you still got at least like after Royal Rumble, you have about a month and a half, 2. So I mean, like you got some time in here to let this thing breathe and work itself out. I honestly, like I said, I think by Mania it wraps up, and whether that's Cody coming back or whether that's the natural dissension and crumbling of the bloodline from within, I think regardless, that's where we get the payoff one way or the other.
I want a Sammy Rumble win.
I honestly that's if Sammy's not the one to win the Royal Rumble this year, then it's got to be Cody. I mean, I don't know. I haven't heard any rumblings, any scuttlebutt from the dirt sheets or anything like that as far as like a timetable on Cody coming back. I mean, I think everybody assumes it'll probably be at Rumble, and that would be a logical assumption. But, I haven't heard any progress. I haven't heard, anything rumored that he might come back any earlier or that he might not come back at all at Rumble or anything like that. I haven't heard anything one way or the other. So
he said that he was going to be back for the Rumble, I think, or he said that he was targeting January as his timeline. I read a review that it could be at day one, but obviously it's not going to be at day one because
save him for the Rumble. Poot, what do you think about this
Absolutely.
the bloodline situation?
Honestly, I'm just glad that it's still fresh, and I'm glad that some a talent like Sami Zayn can be brought in to reinvigorate it in a both entertaining, kind of offbeat thing. Because the bloodline whole thing, the problem with some stables, whenever you get so serious with it, it can get like a little insistent on itself, and it can get a little kind of just samey. It's like whatever. But then when you have a wild card like Sami Zayn come in, who can literally make anything entertaining as fuck, I don't like. I don't see how this is a bad thing, because I've seen a couple people on Facebook and various other places saying that they're making Sami Zayn a clown, and how dare they? They're shitting on Sami Zayn. I'm like, fuck you. Like that, or they're like, taking away the like, validity of the bloodline and everything. And I'm just like, it's people overthinking and wanting to knee jerk. Just let it ride. Like, this is a time in wrestling right now where we should just look at what's on our screen and go, all right, let's see where this goes. I know I've said that before, but it was in the times where that was not necessarily the most prudent thing to fucking do. Like, you couldn't just go, all right, let's see where this goes. Now we actually can, and now it will actually be fucking entertaining. I'm ready to see where it goes. I think it's going to be great. And I honestly think, in the perfect world, the ideal thing at the end of this all is to have Roman versus Sammy, and somehow Sammy comes out on top.
I disagree with every single person that says, they're burying Sammy, or they're making him look like a clown. Absolutely not. This is some of the best work that Sami Zayn has ever done, and the crowd can't get enough of him. So no, they're not making him look like a clown. The fucking crowd loves Sami Zayn. They are more behind him now than I think they ever have been. And on the other hand, the people that are like, well, they're taking this, serious stable and they're putting a clown thing on, blah, blah, blah. Any serious stable needs to have those moments of comedy. I mean, you look back at the freaking Nation of Domination. That was a very serious stable. All those guys were very serious. And then you have segments where The Rock gives everybody gold Rolexes and he gives Farouk a framed picture of himself with the Intercontinental title. That was comedy gold. To say that, like, oh, it's a serious stable and they can't do comedy in a serious stable, bullshit. I disagree with both of those things.
Absolutely, I'm with you on that, Ransom. Because in any storyline, pro wrestling or not, it's if you have something so serious, it's nice to have a little bit of levity, like to have that breath of fresh air. It's just the same thing as like when we talk about how you like book a card and stuff like that. You can't have like banger, 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 like spot monkey, spot monkey, spot monkey without, like, you have to mix it up a little bit. You have to have a good ebb and flow. You want to be taken on a journey. So like we had everything serious with the bloodline. And then, the whole shit with Sammy is like, he was annoying or whatever. Like he was trying to, get his way in, but he makes it entertaining. And that's the thing. Like he gets you emotionally invested. You feel for Sammy. You want to see him gain this acceptance. When you see the pure joy in his face, like we were talking about him, having such good facials and stuff like that. Like, Roman's the one on the mic, and we're here talking about Sammy selling it with his facial expressions. Like that's how you're putting on good work, good character work, and things like that. Sammy,
no discredit to Roman. Roman is killing on the mic right now.
Oh, absolutely. No, Roman is by far done his best work of his career. Has been everything with this bloodline stuff to this point, because honestly, you think about it, he had to take, I'm sure, what was some real life angst when he was basically put in the position, he's being force fed down the fans' throats. And nobody wanted him. He's getting booed, but you know what? Okay, as long as I'm getting reactions, whatever. I'll keep doing my thing. And then the leukemia pops back up. Then he comes back from remission. He gets cheered for like a month, and then he starts getting booed again. And it's like, I just beat cancer. You're all gonna boo me? Fuck that. Here's what's happening, and run with it. And like I said, it's his best work that he's done so far. He's improved leaps and bounds on the mic during this whole bloodline stuff, like compared to back whenever he was going toe to toe with Cena at SummerSlam or whatever, and they had that big promo back and forth on the mic, and Cena goes, "It's called a promo, Roman. You're gonna have to learn how to do it." Well, he fucking learned for sure.
I think that, so I think I went on record like a month ago or so, and I said, man, like Sammy, like this is what they need to do. They need to pull the trigger on Sammy, have him win the big one. He needs to be the guy that wins Roman Reigns. You guys scoffed at me at that point. I just want to say, but I'm gonna walk that back a little bit.
Well, I was gonna say, because then last week you just said, "Fuck that," put the title on Bray. So
like I said, I'm gonna walk it back a little bit.
Okay.
I think that you can achieve the same result just without a compromise. And again, nothing against Sami Zayn. I love Sami Zayn, and like Ransom said, man, if he never gets the big one, like this stretch is absolutely going to be something that's on his fucking Hall of Fame like fucking placard. But realistically here, I don't think that, and Sammy could be the guy down the line. I just don't think that he's the guy that needs to end Roman's run. But what you can do is have him beat the Usos for their titles.
Mhm.
Because right now they are at day 462 of their SmackDown title reign. Very, very, very close to eclipsing the New Day's mark of 483. And I
Very
think
easy.
they face the New Day next week on SmackDown, assuming they get past Butch and fucking the Brawling Brutes, Butch and Ridge.
The brutish
Assuming they
brawling brutes of brutishness.
Assuming they get past them, which I think that they will. They
Yeah.
then face the New Day next week on SmackDown, and barring a crazy fucking thing happening, I think that the Usos will be the longest reigning WWE Tag Team Champions. Now, all that being said, I think that you bring all that, set all that up to have, because again, I think I mentioned this last week, Elimination Chamber is in fucking Quebec. It is in
Quebec. There's great fishing in Quebec.
Quebec. It's up there in Sami Zayn's neck of the woods. So and Kevin Owens. So I think that you start to see this thing kind of fall apart around the first of the year. Maybe something major happens at Survivor Series to really maybe Sami Zayn's the reason they lose the War Games match. Something like that to really start a catalyst. And I think that you see Owens back him up. And I think that you see Owens and Sami Zayn beat the Usos at Elimination Chamber for the WWE Tag Team Championships, both the Raw and the SmackDown. I think that is going to be the end game here. And it makes the most sense because Sami has the animosity with the Usos, not with Roman. Roman's never had a beef with Sami. Sami's never had a beef with Roman. Like, that wouldn't make sense, but, Jey Uso, like, making his brothers see, hey, this guy's a fucking problem. I think that is where this is all going to lead.
I'm calling it right now. Rene Dupree comes back and tags with Sami Zayn.
That's a dated reference, man.
It's the best reference. They're the new La Resistance. Shut up.
But, yeah, I mean, and honestly, I hate to say this. I really do. I do. Crown Jewel looks like it's not a bad card.
Ooh, damn.
Like, we have lambasted them for the fucking shit that they put on in Saudi Arabia. With good reason. I think that they've really haven't tried the best. Because, the Saudis don't fucking know. They brought in that one fucking sumo guy, because they asked for Yokozuna. They had to fucking dig fucking Goldberg and fucking Undertaker out of storage because that's what they knew. I don't think Triple H gives a fuck about what the fucking princes over there want. I think Triple H is like, you're paying us the money. Here's what you're getting. Like, I don't care that you want the fucking Macho Man. Go ahead and dig him up. Bring him over yourself. You do that. I think Triple H is saying, this is our pay-per-view. This is what you're getting. Be thankful. But I mean, let me run down the card real quick. And again, we're not picking. But you got Roman versus Logan in what could be an absolute barn burner. I don't expect Logan to win at all.
No.
But allegedly, Jake Paul's going to show up and be in his corner.
Meh.
You can fucking say meh all you want, but here's the fucking truth. These two kids know how to fucking promote. And Jake Paul beat Anderson Silva in a fucking boxing match. And yes, I know that Anderson Silva is like 90. And yes, I know that Anderson Silva was famous in MMA. But I mean, still, when you can fucking do that to the Spider, you've earned my respect. The OC faces the Judgment Day. Lesnar versus Lashley. McIntyre versus Cross in a steel cage. Omos versus Strowman. Bianca versus Bayley in a last woman standing match. The Usos versus the Brawling Brutes. And Alexa and Asuka versus Damage Control. That's a pretty good fucking card.
Honestly, I'm happy that Paul versus Reigns is happening here. Now I know, like, I'm not gonna shit on Paul because of what he is.
That's okay.
I agree. I agree with Beef. I mean, those two idiots know how to promote, and they have made a fortune doing what they do. So good on them. Like they're doing something right. They might be hated by a lot of people, but they're rolling around in money. Like they're swimming in Scrooge McDuck pools of gold coins. So people want to hate on them. They can hate on them all damn day. They're rich as shit.
And this is way better than fucking bringing Donald Trump in at WrestleMania. I'll say that in a blink of an eye.
Sure.
Like, this is getting youthful, young people to watch your product and go, "Oh, hey, Logan Paul."
Yeah,
Right.
They don't fucking.
I'll give WWE and H
So they're
on that for sure.
They're getting younger. Go ahead, Ransom.
So nothing against, it's not hate on him for who he is, but I'm happy that this is happening at a crown jewel and not at like Royal Rumble, because Jake Paul or Logan Paul, like he's a celebrity. And while he's worked hard and done very well in the 2 matches that he's had in wrestling, this is his 3rd match. And you're in your 3rd match ever and you're wrestling for the title? No.
If I can, real quick,
not-
to dispute that.
In a second.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm happy that it's happening at Crown Jewel because it's not taking the place of another wrestler who's been busting their hump for a long time and really working at one of the major US pay-per-views. Now go ahead.
Brock Lesnar won the UFC title, and I think his 3rd fight. I think that if you're a big enough name and you show that you have enough of a acumen for it, I don't have a problem with it.
But I gotta interject though. UFC and WWE, I get it. I get where you're trying to draw the comparison, but it's completely different when you have predetermined, choreographed physical violence versus straight out fighting.
Absolutely. But honestly,
I mean, like the fact that Lesnar got the opportunity at a 3rd, like within like just his 3rd fight, like for the UFC, that's something I see where you're drawing the comparison, but there is still that slight difference, like
Hey man, honestly, like I like the any given Sunday mentality. For example, right now as we speak, the 7-0 of Philadelphia Eagles are tied with the 1-5-1 Houston Texans. Like, who fucking saw that coming? Nobody. That's why you play the game. That's why you do this kind of stuff. Because if you have a guy that absolutely looks like a superstar, and yes, Logan Paul absolutely looks like a fucking superstar. I will mince no words.
Yeah.
The only thing I'll say about Logan Paul, the only problem I have with Logan Paul is the fact that he built into his contract that he's supposed to be the good guy. That's never going to be believable. Logan Paul will never be cheered. No one will ever cheer him. And so the quicker that he embraces the fact that he will never be a good guy and that they should not book him like a good guy, and the sooner that he embraces the douchebag that he is and becomes a big-ass fucking heel, the sooner that he will be one of the top stars in the industry.
Yeah.
All he has to, and the thing is, all he has to do is be himself. That's it.
But
That's what I'm saying.
And Logan, I think Jake Paul is of the two. I think it's Logan has a podcast where he just talks to like other YouTubers and celebrities and stuff like that. I can't remember what it's called.
I don't know.
But it's really good, and like listening to him like talk to them and like vacillate between interviewing them really well and then also just like hanging out and being a bro. He seems like a good dude to hang out with. His brother's a shitbag.
No, I
Like,
think you
he-
got it the other way around. Logan was the one that made the video about
Oh,
that.
the suicide force. Okay,
Yep.
well then I had it backwards because, to be fair, highlight, copy, paste, control C, control T, or whatever.
Right.
Like, but what I'm just saying, like, still, he just has to be a shitbag. Like, that's all he has to do. He
Yeah.
just has to be a shitbag and just be himself.
This is our tech guy. This is our tech guy, ladies and gents. Alt control the T or whatever. I don't know.
I don't use shortcuts. I use the mouse for everything. So
I don't know what the
fuck it.
fuck Control T is, but that's not
Nothing.
paste.
It's not paste. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, our tech guy, Poot the Bard, baby.
Beef,
Sorry.
what does a compressor do?
I don't fucking know.
Shut the
because I
fuck
don't-
up then and move on.
Fucking compresses. What are you, an idiot?
I'm just saying. I think the crown jewel could be entertaining.
I'm coming with
It compresses.
What are you, a fucking idiot?
Uh, I mean,
Are you
so
gonna
much
watch? Are
technology.
you gonna watch it? Are you gonna watch it?
I don't know. No, because Saturday's my dad's birthday and we're going out. So
Well, even if you're not gonna watch it live, are you gonna go back and watch it?
Oh
on the
no,
network?
if I don't catch a WWE PLE live, I don't watch it.
Really? Even
yeah.
if you hear that it was a blockbuster and it was great.
Come
I mean,
on,
maybe.
Patty.
Maybe it would depend on my interest level in the event and what else I get going on. In the fall, probably not, because honestly, like, there's usually a way better game of football that I'm interested in than watching wrestling.
Oh.
At least WWE. But and again, that I think was true of the past. I think that these events since Triple H has taken over has been really good. I was surprisingly happy with Clash of the Castle. So I think that again, absolutely. They didn't. This isn't some like marketing scheme to like appease the Saudis. Again, this is Triple H saying, "This is what you're getting. This is our, this is what you're paying for. This is our product now. Unless you got a DeLorean, you're not going to get what you think that you paid for. So here's the best that we can give you now." And I think that and I'm here for it. But I'm shocked that Survivor Series is coming up pretty quick here, with War Games attached to it, and we're still kind of in the lurch about it. I would think that this shit that War Games especially should have been being built, about a month ago. Now,
Since you brought that up,
yeah,
you had said something earlier about Sammy Gaines,
Sammy Gaines
with his
Oh,
compressor, costing or doing something that cost the Bloodline the War Games.
Mm.
Who faces the Bloodline at War Games?
Shit.
I don't know, man.
That's a good looking question.
Like, is there a stable out there that will face the Bloodline?
I don't know, man. Like, I honestly kind of thought that this Wyatt Six stuff was going to materialize a little bit quicker. And I thought that we had a shot at seeing the Wyatt Six taking on the Bloodline. Especially since, all internal marketing seems to list Bray as, like, the number one babyface on SmackDown now. But I now I think we're to the point where you can't just like ham fist that in. So I wonder if the Bloodline represents Team SmackDown and we don't get like a Team Raw.
Oh, okay.
But even at that, man, I mean, who do you have on it? Lashley, maybe. Lesnar, if they want to pay him, I guess. AJ Styles, The Miz, like their Raw is not Rollins. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Rollins. But like Raw is not super stocked right now. The balance of power is absolutely on the blue side. I don't know, man. They're, and that's what I'm saying. Like at this point in the rotation, with Survivor Series being less than a month away, we should absolutely know who's going up against who, and then they would build like the tension over the next few weeks. At this point, they're building the entire feud, which is criminal.
Is it a possibility that it's not the Bloodline in the War Games? Do you think it's just like a Team SmackDown and a Team Raw, and it's not like Team Bloodline representing SmackDown?
I mean, maybe, but like,
it seems like a waste.
Yeah, and like again, like if you're putting together an all-star SmackDown team and you don't have your WWE champion and your WWE tag team champions as part of it, what are you even doing? So
yeah,
like,
I mean, I kind of figured that Roman Reigns would have a title match at Survivor Series.
No, honestly, I'm really okay with how the last few Survivor Series have gone, where like the Raw champ has faced the SmackDown champ, although I guess they're the same person now. But like the United States has faced the Intercontinental Champion, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, I guess they can't do that anymore, which is a bummer because I think that it was really fun when they did that. But okay, so there again, like Roman defends against Logan here this Saturday. Who would he face next? Like there's nothing like in the wings waiting for him.
I have to imagine there's a plan. Like I have to imagine that there is a plan, but it's just not revealed yet. Like I can't imagine that the first pay-per-view that is kind of like a ham-fisted, thrown together mishmash under the Triple H regime is one of the big four. Like that would flabbergast me.
I would think there would be a plan too, but like so let's go through the last several months here. Like Cody, who is the guy, absolutely going to be the guy to end Roman's reign, and gets hurt. Vince McMahon gets ousted, who had probably the plan in place for Cody and for Austin Theory. And then Bray comes back and is shaking everything up. Sammy's getting over like gangbusters, and they're running with it. So there may have been a plan in place, but now it may not be the plan anymore. There may have been a plan B in place, but it may not be the plan anymore. I think I don't think they're punching it up as they go. I really don't. But I do think that they're fluid with it. But I would think that especially with something like War Games, they definitely have a plan.
I imagine they have a plan and they're just keeping it hush. For the moment.
But like, am I wrong? Like, it feels like we should know the combatants on both sides. And I mean, like, I think that we can kind of start to see the women's War Games shape up. Like, obviously, it's probably going to be Damage Control, and maybe another. And then, like, Bianca and Asuka and Alexa and maybe another there.
Charlotte?
So, like, no. So, like,
no.
That I think is coming together nicely. But, like, again, assuming that it's the Bloodline, who do they face? Maybe Judgment Day. That's another stable. They're both heels, so I don't know what sense that would make. But maybe the Judgment Day.
The club, the OC,
maybe.
But you'd have to toss.
How are you guys feeling
in there?
Little sidebar. How are you guys feeling about Judgment Day?
I honestly think they're doing good work. If nothing else, Rhea is a fucking all-star with that right now.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck Dominic Mysterio is doing there.
I'm not sure either, but
I'm here for it. I'm here for it. He's getting legit heat.
He is.
And he is cleaning up his in-ring work. He's not to the level that Logan Paul is, and I never thought I'd say that in my fucking life.
Wow.
But he's not. But he's cleaning it up.
I can't look at him as anything other than like, oh, look, it's fucking Rey Mysterio fetus face.
You know,
Oh, look, it's Eddie's kid.
that's the thing. I think
now he's got that stupid slick back mullet. Like,
The
fucking
more-
just come out in a lowrider, you piece of
the
shit.
more no,
Wow.
but here's the thing: the more that he leans, the more that he leans into that, the better off he'll be. The more that he tries to be more like Eddie, less like Ray, I think he is going to see more success.
Oh, absolutely.
But I'm not tying his success with the Judgment Days, because right now they're not, they're not good. They've lost a lot of big matches. Yeah, it would shock me if they lost at Crown Jewel, but at the same time, it wouldn't shock me. It's just like
They flubbed that up when they booted Edge out.
man, oh man,
Yeah, they did.
that I think is one of the biggest what ifs of 2022. And again, like there's going to be a lot of big what ifs this year. What if Punk had stayed healthy? What if Cody stayed healthy? What if McMahon got bounced sooner? All of these things are in our purview. But honestly, like Edge getting bounced so early from his own stable, man, what a mistake. And like they've doubled down on it. If they would have had him come back and fight the Judgment Day for a little bit and then realign with them, chef's kiss. You're realizing you made a mistake and you're leaning back into that.
Yeah.
But now they're too far gone. So I don't know, man.
It was a perfect. I mean, it was a perfect fit.
Did who won at the last PLE? Was that Balor that beat Edge, or did it Edge? I don't even remember anymore.
Wait, and where?
The last Premium Live event where.
Yeah. Balor beat Edge because
Okay.
because it was the I Quit match and they were gonna.
Oh, right.
Yeah, they were gonna cave in Beth's head, and after Edge said I quit to save her, fucking Rhea did it anyway. So
that's like step one. I think is like making Balor look strong, and they've been doing better with him. I'm still very lukewarm though. I think the Judgment Day needs to rack up some wins. And I mean, like, if they beat the Club here and then pull off a fucking victory against the fucking Bloodline and War Games, like, all right, suddenly I'm feeling a little bit better.
But they had to continue that momentum, though. Like, they look too much like losers for me to be like, "Ooh, here comes a Judgment Day!" Like, oh, scary darkness, purple. Oh, Finn Balor's wearing the fucking, bondage mask.
Yeah, but
Like they look like losers.
I don't understand why though, because like Damian Priest has been a huge success on the main roster. Rhea Ripley's been a huge success. Finn Balor has been a huge success in NXT. I don't think that ever translated to the main roster, but I think if you bring in Finn's NXT record between the Demon and the Prince, I think that they are a group of winners. It's just that like
But they haven't been winning as the Judgment Day.
Right, and I think that's the problem.
And
that is the problem.
The sum, what is it? The whole is not as great as the sum of its parts.
Right. And I just like I feel like
chicken tonight.
They need to be better. And
they do need to be better.
I think if they beat the OC, that's the start of something big. Well, could be. But let's flip that coin. You brought back Gallows and Anderson, probably not cheap. You're paying them to wrestle in Saudi Arabia, also probably not cheap, given how
Nope.
they felt last time. Carl Anderson is missing a New Japan date to defend a title to participate in Saudi Arabia. So, all of that being said, are you going to have the OC come out and lose?
Ugh.
Like, I don't see a way that happens.
Maybe it's a no contest.
Nah.
I mean, if you're gonna have a no contest somewhere, have it be Saudi Arabia. Like, who gives a shit?
True, but I don't know.
Like, again, what's Saudi Arabian fans gonna do? Shit on that match? Oh,
Well,
no.
and that's again, like, that's the thing. I'm not treating this like Crown Jewel. I'm treating this as like just another WWE PLE. And I don't think, and I think that Triple H is seeing it the same way. Like, I don't think this is just a throwaway show. This is a fucking Greatest Royal Rumble where, Braun Strowman's gonna get a fucking bright green title and we'll never see it again, ever again. It may have been orange. I don't remember.
I think you're right. It was green.
All I
but,
can remember is Titus O'Neil flying under the ring.
Or we get like basically what's going to be the amount of like a glorified house show, which is what I think a lot of them have been in the past. This feels different, in a good way. So I don't know, man. I just like you can't have them. I don't think you can have a no contest. I don't think the Judgment Day can afford to lose. I don't think the OC want to lose. So like, where the fuck are we at? What do you do? You're backed into a literal corner here.
Yeah, this is a bad match.
The only thing I can see happening is Edge coming back and like, costing the Judgment Day the match again.
But again, that's still a Judgment Day lose.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Edge like it's not a clean
At
lose.
the behest,
like they didn't.
At the behest of a fucking old man.
Yeah, like it still makes the Judgment Day look bad because again, like Edge comes back and everybody in the Judgment Day goes, "Oh no, it's Edge!" and they freaking lose the match. Like at this point, if Edge comes out when the Judgment Day's out there, they should look at him and just go, "Oh, Edge."
Yeah, look, an old man.
But like, either way, it results in the Judgment Day looking like, "Oh, okay, well." They either lost clean to the OC, or oh no, Edge came out and gave them the spookies, and
He gave him the spookies.
he
And
comes
they're
up
just
from
like,
the floor using
oh
the old fucking Brood gimmick, like, oh, here comes Gangrel. Oh no, wait, shit, it's Edge. Oh no,
Here comes Gangrel.
We lost. Here we fucking lost again. Oh dear. Blah, blah. Like, just why though? Like, it's not good.
no. To be fair, I think we all
That's a
brought up the
gripe.
fact that
What a gripe.
why should they be afraid of Edge, or why, like, I think Edge is doing great, or was doing great, but like, I mean, it just I don't know.
I mean, I love Edge.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
same.
you
I do. I
might
love
be the
Edge.
biggest Edge fan I know.
I freaking love him. I mean, I think Edge is great, but the time that he has spent with Judgment Day has come and gone a while ago. Move on. Like, let him do something else. Like, this whole feud with like Judgment Day, it's been done to death. It's overstayed its welcome. Be done with it. Separate them. Separate Edge and the Judgment Day. Like, if
I mean, but it's very clear they're not going to, right? Like, the way that Edge lost that I Quit match, like, there's no way that Edge just comes back and goes, so anyway.
No, of course not. I
Yeah.
don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. It's not doing anything for the Judgment Day.
Nope.
Like, it's just not.
Which I think, kayfabe and otherwise, I think that Edge wanted to see the Judgment Day succeed. That's why he was doing it. Because he wanted to see a group of like young wrestlers that were hungry, young-ish Balor, that were hungry and like excited to get through and everything. and now it's quite the opposite. Like he absolutely has stunted their growth, and now they're kind of a Nexus level laughingstock.
Oh, like I don't blame Edge for
a
that.
shame.
Like, I don't.
That's a shame to make that comparison.
But it's
It's
true.
a shame,
Like
but I think it's true. Like ooh,
they
had something great,
peaked-
and then it's
yeah,
now it's a fart.
exactly. They peaked real fucking high, and then for fucking who knows why, both like hit the toilet real quick. And I mean, maybe we get like the equivalent of like the Punk Nexus run, with the Judgment Day, where maybe they'll come back out of the ashes for one more good run, but it's gonna be tough.
Well, I mean, let's face it, the Punk Nexus thing, they were Punk lackeys. I mean, it wasn't the same. Like they weren't a group of young, disgruntled wrestlers that were coming in and causing havoc.
Oh, absolutely not.
You know, they were just there to do Punk's bidding.
I don't know, man. I think it still worked, but
I don't think it did anything for them. Like it just didn't. It didn't do anything for them because once again, all eyes were on Punk. Nobody gave a shit about anything happening in the Nexus. All they cared about was that Punk fucking had the Nexus shirt on. And, you know, the Nexus were his gang and they were his lackeys and they came out and helped him and, you know, did all this other bullshit. Like it's fucking Jake Hagar syndrome.
Fair. You're
like, you know, it is though, but like, you know,
I feel you. I feel you.
Not to go off topic or anything, but like, as much as Jericho is elevating a lot of guys in AEW, yes, he is. Like, I don't think Jake Hagar will ever amount to anything other than a glorified lackey. He was a lackey in whatever the first stable was. He's a lackey in this stable. Like, he's never gonna be the guy or even like a guy. He's gonna, whatever stable Jericho has next, he's gonna be right there wearing the garb, standing around, looking doofy.
With his
fucking slurring his way through everything.
With his, it's lisping, not slurring.
Either way, I mean, lisp, slur, Jeff Hardy, Jake Hagar, whatever.
All right, well, that's fair.
Come on.
Boys, what do you say we do some Stump the Chumps?
Yeah.
Wait, no, I say we do some Stump the Champs. Because we fucking killed it last week.
I say I'd go have a nice diarrhea. And
we did.
So again, I'll give props to Pat. At least he's throwing questions at us. Dave,
well, look, before you start this, freaking, where is Dave? Dave's never here.
Nope.
Allegedly.
Dave's not here, man.
Listen, and I'm talking, I know you're gonna listen because you're always up my ass for when these episodes are posted. Ryuk.
Mm-hmm.
I know you are listening to this show.
Mm-hmm.
Because every Tuesday night Among Us at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the Casual Gaming Dad Discord, hint, hint, audience.
Cheap plug.
Don't spoil your burrito with an appetizer, all right?
Well, look, sometimes the appetizer is better than the main course.
Damn!
Calm down over there, Beef, all right? Just drink your pumpkin spice latte with how basic that was.
Hey.
Shots fired, motherfucker. Yeah, freaking get on the thing and do that. So I know he's listening. Where's your Stump the Chumps, Ryuk? I know you've got wrestling knowledge because you talk to us about wrestling frequently when we're doing Among Us with Casual Gaming Dad in the Casual Gaming Dad Discord at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Tuesday. I know Ryuk's got the knowledge. Send in the Stump the Champs.
Send in the champs. Those awesome, awesome champs. All right, boys. Well, yeah, once again, Midcar Maniac pulling us through this, kicking and screaming. Here we go.
Look, can we just skip the question and call it a win? Because, come on.
Damn.
That was for you, Beef.
Who are the three? Nope. Who are the top three wrestlers to appear in the War Games match in WCW?
What do you
mean by top three?
Yeah, what does he mean by top three?
I'm assuming he means by rank by appearances.
What?
Like how many?
Right.
Who has appeared the most?
That I think is what he was going for, but
Well,
it just worded poorly.
I
I'm sorry, Pat. Who are the top 3 wrestlers to appear in the War Games match in WCW?
that doesn't tell us anything. That's not a fucking legitimate question because it's
I
top
think
3
that's-
what?
So we'll play this as the most appearances, and
Yeah, but then if it has nothing to do with appearances, then what?
then we call it a wash because this question was worded so
You
poorly.
fucking ruined it, Pat.
Please
Turd.
please keep sending emails. Please keep sending
Jesus.
emails.
Yeah, until Dave and Ryuk step it up. Or
Good
wherever that
Lord.
guy was that had our shirt on that somebody saw somewhere that was nowhere near Pennsylvania.
Yeah, fucking somewhere out in Detroit.
He got it at a Goodwill.
plus that one fucking guy who sent
Texas
in
Heat.
No, well, yeah, Texas Heat, but there was that other guy that sent in the fucking the question about the brawl for all, and he was like, list every single matchup ever, and list the winner and the time and the official and the bell ringer. Like I
What
want
was
every
that guy's name?
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know,
That was
Zack Snyder. Zack
yeah,
Snyder.
the DC guy, fucking Zack
Yep.
Snyder.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's the first, last, and only time we ever do a fucking tournament question like that. Go fuck yourself, Zack Snyder. But thanks for
Oh
listening.
no!
But thanks for listening. Anyway, so yeah, top. So who has? I'll word it better for Pat. Who has the most appearances? The 3 most appearances in War Games, WCW style.
How many war games did WCW have?
A bunch.
Did they?
A Fall Brawl. It was an annual classic of Fall Brawl.
One of them's got to be Sting.
Yes.
It's gotta be Sting.
One of them's got to be
Absolutely.
Sting.
Oh.
I would say maybe Luger.
The Horsemen. Maybe Luger. The Horsemen weren't a ton. Old Horsemen, New Horsemen, Dead Horsemen, Alive Horsemen. They weren't a ton.
Hold on. Give me the question one more time so I can try to fucking understand the madness that is Pat's fucking vocabulary.
Who are the top 3 wrestlers to appear in the War Games match in WCW?
Okay. Yeah, it still doesn't.
I'm telling you,
Okay.
I'm telling you what we're doing. And if he's like, nope, I meant the top grossing, or like whatever, like, sorry, Pat, you lose. Good day, sir.
Oh dear.
little preemptivity there. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, Sting absolutely has to be one. To Poot's point, Luger, I think, wasn't a ton because he was like Horseman adjacent in the 80s. And then, like, his run in the 90s, he was, like, NWO adjacent.
Now, again, going on Pat's verbiage here,
Yes.
going on the verbiage. Weren't a lot of those done in, like, the NWA territory times?
Brr.
Yeah, weren't some of them done like in the 80s? Late
Yeah.
80s too?
Yeah, but that was still WCW. It was
Was
still,
it because,
Fall
or was
Brawl.
it WCCW?
I
That's
think you're
my point.
confusing. I think you're confusing War Games for, the match. No, wait, War Games. I was thinking the scaffold match. Yeah, okay, but
'Cause-
like even still,
Because if he's saying strictly WCW, like what we know as quote unquote what we know as WCW, which was like the early 90s. If he's sticking with that, then it's the 2 of them are absolutely
WCW
going to be Sting and Luger.
WCW was still WCW in the late 80s. I think that since the inception of Fall Brawl, which is where War Games came from, I think it's been WCW.
But wasn't
That
that
being
the
said,
Great
even-
American Bash before that? Wasn't Fall Brawl like a early 90s WCW thing?
No, Fall Brawl and Starrcade were 2 of the original WCW pay-per-views.
No, I know that, but what I'm saying is, I think Fall Brawl was later than you think, wasn't it? I think it was.
Yeah, but they had war games matches at events that
They had them at house
Came
shows,
before-
didn't they?
they did. They had them at
Oh,
events
really?
that came before Fall Brawl. Like they had some
Did
at house
they?
shows. They had some at Great American.
Yeah, it was an attraction.
they?
Like it was. It was
Okay.
an
Yes,
attraction.
yeah, they did.
All right. I'll believe you. Even still, I'll say this. I know that a lot of them were the Horsemen versus Sting and company. And a lot of them were the NWO versus Sting and company. So I think that absolutely Sting and Luger should be too.
I think the Road Warriors were in a bunch of them too.
I think
like,
of the-
before it became Fall Brawl.
I think Sting's a gimme. Can we agree on Sting being a gimme?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So really, we only have to think of two other people, because
Right.
No. I don't.
Go ahead, Ransom. No,
I don't know.
yeah.
I mean, Sting was in a
Ev-
lot of them at like Fall Brawls, but like back in like house show days,
Yeah, but there's no
I'm
way.
willing to bet that the Road Warriors were in a shit ton of them.
But there's no way that like we can know fucking house show results. I'm assuming he's talking about broadcasted war games.
I wouldn't be too sure, but maybe.
Well, okay, so it's gonna go by Wikipedia because that's where he gets his information. He doesn't just like he.
This
And
one's
honestly,
tough.
it's-
This one's tough.
Yeah. I don't know,
Okay,
man.
so Sting. So, Poot, you mentioned Luger.
Yeah,
Wait, did he
Yeah.
say specifically WCW?
that's
He
what
did.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Oh,
He did.
okay. So he did say WC. Okay. So I
Yeah.
think a lot of them that happened, like a lot of the earlier ones that happened, like that
Were
were
like-
house shows, and even like Great American Bashes would have been like NWA branded.
Right. That's what I'm thinking.
So maybe a lot of them are just Fall Brawls, because maybe the ones that are house show and shit like that, maybe those aren't considered WCW.
Dusty was in a bunch against the Horsemen, and again, if I'm saying the
But
Horsemen
that's-
were in a bunch,
But that
I
was
mean,
but that was an NWA though, I think.
that was also late WCW, like early WCW.
Man, that's a
With-
that's the fine line. That's a fine line to walk though, because I don't know. What the
And again, like if we're saying that the Horsemen were a part of a lot of them, that means that Flair was a part of a lot of them.
So
Yeah, so
Horsemen-
Sting and Flair probably then.
The Horsemen rotated a lot, but the one constant was Flair.
what about I'm trying to think of depending on the rotating members of the Horsemen, who's somebody that might have been in a lot, even in NWA and WCW, like would have been
Barry
only-
Windham probably.
Wyndham.
Ooh. Okay.
Arn, Double A, JJ
Yeah.
Dillon.
What
You
about
know,
I
See,
don't
Flair.
know, like,
See, Flair and Sting are I think slam dunks because they would have been involved in like the earlys and also like the late WCWs.
I don't
So, like,
know about
Rick-
I don't know about Flair, because
Oh yeah, I think he was involved in like the New Blood Steel Cage or the New Blood War Games match, if I'm not mistaken.
So here's my thought real quick. Is Sting is a guarantee, I think.
I agree.
Yeah, probably.
yeah,
Absolutely. He's
I
the
wanna-
first thing that came to my mind.
I don't know if Luger is number 2 or number 3, but but something tells me with Luger, because there's a lot of
Yes.
times that it
Same
was
thing.
Sting and Luger, good buddies team up, sort of thing, whatever.
And he was Horseman and Jaceman back in the 80s.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
that's true.
now
Like if you put a gun to my head, I'd probably say Sting, Luger, Flair. Maybe not in that order, but
so I'm saying Sting and Luger, but
I don't know
I'm-
about Flair.
yeah,
like-
I'm waffling on Flair as well, Poot, because I'm thinking.
I don't know who else though. Who else
well-
would be in it as much as
So we were saying something about the Horsemen, but I'm thinking like I'm thinking it's not necessarily Flair, and it's more so one of the other Horsemen for some reason, because I'm thinking
no, because back in the day, Flair wasn't a mouthpiece.
well,
Flair was like the leader. of the
yeah. Okay,
Horsemen.
but stick with me on this, Beef, because a majority of these WCW war games would have been fall brawls and stuff, which would have been in later WCW, not early WCW, NWA adjacent, correct? So Flair could have been in some stuff back in early, but waffled off more towards the later stuff whenever Bischoff wasn't booking him as much or anything like that, and all that bullshit going on. Just he was naturally getting older.
I mean, Bischoff wasn't around till like the late 90s.
Yeah, okay.
Like, I think so. So here's what I'm saying: between the late 80s, early 90s, and the late 90s, maybe early 2000s, I think Flair had been in enough to at least warrant. But and I mean, to Rance's point, like, who else? Like, yeah, the Road Warriors were in a bunch, but I think that they were mainly NWA.
I agree with that.
And like Hogan, Hall, Nash, anybody in the NWO would have been around for maybe 5, maybe 6 max, assuming that they made every single War Games during the Nitro era. That would have been max, and I guarantee you Flair has probably 5 or 6 himself.
Yeah, I don't think anybody in the NWO would have had more than Flair. They might have had close, but I don't know that. Like, I don't think Hogan in Nash Hall. I don't even think Diamond Dallas Page would have had more.
No.
Than Flair.
The only thing is like the period between like the late 80s, early 90s to like, you know, the Nitro, or to like, you know, the Attitude Era, basically. That the new generation, if you will, back whenever they brought in Hogan and Macho and all that into WCW, that period of time, generation. I have no idea who the fuck would have been involved in War Games during that time.
So
0. Maybe DDP, but like...
Riddle me this real quick, okay? We'll say with the NWA, like, the Horsemen were definitely going to be involved in a lot of the NWA War Games, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Now, of them, who would have been somebody that still wrestled on the most or for the longest into WCW War Games of the Horsemen?
Barry Windham.
Then I say we go with that.
Because Arn was around, but Arn wasn't wrestling as much as Barry Windham was.
Same with Flair.
But no, I disagree. Flair was wrestling more than Windham was.
Yes. Flair was in WCW longer than Windham, because Windham left WCW in like the late 90s because it was Barry Windham and Blackjack Bradshaw that became the new Blackjacks in WWF. Flair was still in WCW at that point.
Right, and I still think that Flair snuck 1 or 2 more War Games matches at that point. And like I said,
because
like,
even against the NWO, like Team W, the one was Team WCW against Team W or NWO, and it was Flair and like Mongo McMichael, and Arn Anderson gave his spot to Kurt Hennig, and that was like the whole like betrayal when Kurt Hennig betrayed
Benoit, the Horsemen, right?
The Horsemen, and joined the NWO. So
exactly.
I mean, Flair was in that one too, and that was NWO time frame.
That's what I'm saying. I think that Flair has enough longevity, and like knowing that the Horsemen, like the War Games is basically the Horsemen's match. Like that was like, you know, that was their thing. That's what they did. They participated in War Games.
Well, there were generations of horsemen that participated in the War Games, because
and the one constant
there was the one where like Benoit McMichael and Kurt Hennig.
Benoit McMichael, Kurt Hennig. Yeah, that was the one that Kurt Hennig.
I remember that one.
Horsemen. There was one where it was the Horsemen were comprised of like, I think it was Flair and Barry Windham, and that's when Sid was in the Horsemen for that cup of coffee.
Lord.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, yeah, there were generations of the Horsemen involved in War Games, but like Beef said, the one constant, I cannot remember a War Games where the 4 Horsemen participated that Ric Flair did not. There were War Games where the Horsemen didn't participate at all, and maybe some of those would have been when Ric Flair didn't participate, but I don't think that there would have been any other constant that participated as much, even outside of like having it be like the Horsemen representing WCW. Like younger guys. I mean, I think there was one I can't remember. There was one War Games where it was a pile of like younger guys.
Oh yeah,
But
and
that
like
didn't
I said,
that didn't happen. That didn't happen enough.
There's clearly, but there's
Bret
shit
Hart
in
was
the
in
mid
one.
'90s. Yeah, there was some shit in the mid '90s, and then like, some shit in like the late Attitude Era that like happened that we're probably forgetting. I know
Sure.
like Vince Russo was in one, so like, but I mean, again, I think if we paint with broad strokes here, realistically, again, I think Sting is an absolute slam dunk. I really think that Flair is a very good lock. My only question is Luger, but again, because of his associations with the Horsemen, because of his associations with NWO, and because of his associations with Sting, I think that he's had enough like buddy time in those double rings.
Probably.
Yeah. So that's my take.
I'm not 100% confident. I just have a hard time locking in another name that would have participated in as many outside of these three guys.
Right. Like, yes, you're 100% right.
I can't think of. I can think of a pile of people that participated in the War Games. It's just
like Dusty and Sting were always fighting the Horsemen in War Games, always.
Yeah, but I don't think Dusty he didn't.
No.
I don't think he would have eclipsed Luger.
No, not at all.
And again, they were fighting them via in NWA War Games, not as much in WCW though.
I don't think you guys think that NWA just like transformed in like 1991. WCW I think was around in like 86, 87.
WCW was around then, but so was the NWA, and I think a lot of these earlier War Games before it became Fall Brawl happened in like NWA branded events or house shows.
Again, we're going with the information provided, so we're saying WCW. We can always research it if we're not happy, but like I would be hard pressed to think of anybody other than Flair or Sting. And yeah, Luger is my number 3 guy only because I'm like, I don't know. I mean, maybe one of the other Horsemen, maybe Barry Windham, maybe Arn Anderson.
I think Barry and Arn are in there, but I don't think they have as many.
I think the second best bet would be Barry Windham. Because Windham,
outside of the 3 that we've chosen,
outside of the 3 that we've chosen, I think that would be, the honorable mention, if you will, but I know that Luger for our picks.
But I know that Luger was there in the the NWO era too, fighting the NWO in the War Games. So
yeah.
Same.
I think that's
same
the
with
thing
Flair
that
and Sting.
I think that's the thing that puts Luger over Barry Windham is that Flair, Luger, and Sting were all still in WCW as active wrestlers after Barry Windham left.
Right.
And went back to WWF.
You are correct there. So yeah,
that's the best 3 that I think I can think of at the moment.
I'm putting my poker chip on Flair, Sting, and Luger.
I'm not 100% confident, but like I said,
I feel good about it.
I can't come up with another name.
Any objections?
I'll go with the majority.
I'll go with it because we could sit here and argue between, I think, Flair, Windham, and any other Horseman.
All right. Well, here we go.
And even still, we're arguing over a question that we don't even 100% understand because it was like, what the actual fuck?
Went to the WCW well with this one. Here you go, Ransom. Top 3 are Sting, Luger, Barry Windham.
Wow.
Sting had 12, Luger had 6, Windham had 6.
Appearances? Is that what he's saying?
I am assuming.
What?
Who did he say?
Sting, Luger, and Barry Windham.
I wonder how many Flair had if Luger and Windham only had 6.
I think Flairs were more in the territory.
I think Flairs would have been more in the NWA era, not the WCW era.
I got to do lookings now.
right?
I mean, we're assuming that's what he means is appearances. Because
Right.
we don't know what the fuck he's actually asking for.
Oh yeah, Flair was in a ton of the NWAs. Yeah, okay, well, there you go. Oh yeah, because Barry Windham was in a bunch of like fuck off teams.
Yep.
All right, well, hey, got one bias, Pat. Savor the flavor. It's not gonna happen again.
Wow.
Well,
To be
on that note, I guess I'll give you a
I'll give
you a sad burrito full of like I don't know, like instead of a nice burrito that you would get at a nice Mexican restaurant that has fresh ingredients and all kinds of cool stuff in it, you're gonna get the sad Saturday night like burrito that you would get at
7-Eleven
home,
burrito.
where it's like fake shredded cheddar cheese and like bullshit meat and taco seasoning from Walmart. Thanks everyone, I guess. Now that we're not champs anymore. Tiger Bomb Tom and his Facebook thing, whatever. Ransom and his whatever. Whatever.
Rude.
Oh, no. Anyway, thank you guys so much, seriously, for listening to P3 Podcast. Really great question coming in. If you have a wrestling question you would like to submit and stump the chumps now, Beef, you want to go ahead and tell them how to do that?
pittsburghpiledriverpodcast at gmail.com. 2 questions, or 2 emails. One with the question, one with the answer in it. In the second answer email, make sure that you include a line of text or so, just to not spoil the answer in the preview window. Otherwise, you will be disqualified and you will get nothing.
There you go.
Much
So
like we got tonight.
throw the questions at us. We love the wrestling questions. Dave. Anyway, thank you all very much for listening to the Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast. Make sure that you'll like, comment, and subscribe and all this stuff. Hit the bell for notifications, etc. on YouTube. And I want to thank our sponsors, Mr. Casual Gaming Self, Gaming Self, Dad Self, Gaming Self, Dad,
easy for you
Dad
to say.
Self, Gaming Self, Dad Self, Gaming Self, Dad Self, Help I'm Stuck, Gaming
Angry.
Self, Dad Self.
Uppercut.
Okay, Bomb Tom
fucking
and his
Google it.
page
You'll figure
Casual
it out.
Gaming Dad over on Facebook. Make sure you join Casual Gaming Dad's Corner. Also, check out all of his awesome streams whenever they come up, especially Tuesday Night Among Us. Always a blast, always a lot of fun. And what time does that start, Ransom?
That's 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
There you go. And we're going to be rolling those clocks back, baby. So you're going to have an extra hour. Tuesday, you'll still feel fresh and awake. It'll be great. Thank you very much to Frig Off Ransom, our very own Ransom the Madman over here on his channel, Frig Off Ransom. He's a hilarious, adorable, handsome man. And you need to go watch his videos and laugh your asses off. Also want to thank you to Mr. Sean Tischler, who's work with wrestling in the Pennsylvania area. Does a really, really great job. Also want to suggest if you're sitting there thinking, man, I'm really thinking about these streams. I'm thinking back, Poot just keeps going on, and I just want to know more about this Casual Gaming Dad. How can I represent Casual Gaming Dad? Does he have any way that I could support him? Yes, he does. Go on over to gouldgaming.com. That's gouldgaming.com. And buy some of his awesome merch. Very high quality, very nice, very evil. And you can buy your very own Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast t-shirt. Won't cost you $49.99, you idiots. It'll only cost you a reasonable amount. That's all you got to do. Go and get your size. Rep us wherever you are. It'll be a blast. All right, thank you very much. For myself, Poot the Barbarian, baby, our very own encyclopedia, Mr. Beef the Legend, Encyclopedia of Wrestling, Mr. Ransom the Madman, and of course our Cruiserweight champion, Mr. Tiger Bomb Tom. Thanks everybody, bye.
Well, you've all let me down. I'm leaving.
What?
Wait,
Did you
wait.
seriously should...
Wait,
There it is.
wait for
I'm
it.
just kidding.
Wait for it.
It was a fake out.
Not